Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle. This is Kyle's Trail Miles, where I talk about all things running and ultra running. And today, I've got a fantastic episode lined up, I hope. I am talking all things backyard ultra. So let's jump into it. I've got a backyard ultra coming up in exactly 7 days from recording this video right now. 7 days from now, hopefully, I will be running. And this is what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to give you my overall take on the backyard ultra. I'm not going to explain the rules or what it is. There's other YouTube videos that explain that. But just my overall sort of take, tips and tricks. I'm going to talk about the mistakes I have made, the big mistake, the colossal mistake that I made last year. I've gone in this 2 years in a row now. This will be my third. I'm going to talk about kind of what I did for training, just sort of brush over that really quickly. I'm going to talk about what my plan is for this coming up race in a week and how I'm sort of preparing from here on out and just how I'm going to take on the race. So let's jump into it. Number one. All right. My take on the backyard ultra is this, and this is the first year that I've had this take. So will it work? I guess we will find out. But I think that you've got to treat a backyard ultra exactly the same as you would treat a 100-mile run or a 100K run or whatever other big runs you've gone in, a 50K run, right from lead up to the race, how you position your mindset, and just what your overall, lead up to it is. And by that, what I mean is I've done a poor job the last couple of years, I think, mentally and maybe even a little bit physically, just sort of preparing for the race in the days leading up to it. Because I kind of treated it like, I don't know, like almost like half a race, because of course you get to come back to your, I call it pit stop, but aid station, you get to come back to your pit stop every hour. And so you get to sit down in your little comfy chair and you get to have a little snacky snack. And so I don't know, it's like in my mind, I kind of thought it's like less of a run than say some 100-kilometer ultra in the mountains sort of thing. And I think that was ultimately a mistake, because there's like, when you look at it on paper, you think, oh, okay, well, I've got an hour, so I could walk X amount of time, and then I get to have a little rest at the end, and so and when you look at it on paper, you're like, I could almost walk that distance in an hour. Well, first of all, you can't. There's actually like a reasonable amount of running, and second of all, you don't have an hour. You have like 50 minutes, because you got to get back and then, there's time. You go to the bathroom, and then you got to get back to the starting corral with usually a minute. So that takes off a couple minutes. And then by the time you kind of get to sit down in position, like, I don't know. I think in my mind, the first couple of years, I like oversold myself that like, I'm going to come into this, my tent and like have a nap. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. And especially as you go on in these races, when maybe you need that sort of extra time and that sit down, it especially isn't there, because now you're coming in at say 53, 54 minutes, whatever. So I think that's one thing, is I think as you're watching this, or if you're preparing for your own backyard ultra, I think the key is to, just take it a little more seriously. And I really learned that last weekend. I went for just a test backyard ultra with my buddies, just sort of like a lead up race. And I gave that exactly no respect, because I was thinking, well, we're just going to go out and little runny runs. And, man, like it's 6.7 kilometers in an hour is no joke when you know you're going to go for a long time. So treat it like with the respect that it deserves. Now, the one benefit, obviously, to a backyard ultra, which I absolutely love, is you don't have to carry anything. And that is gold. You don't have to wear a pack. I mean, you can if you want. I don't. I just wear hat, t-shirt, shorts, shoes, and then I'll usually carry a soft flask. I carry like a little soft flask pretty much on all of my runs, unless I'm wearing a vest. So to me, it's totally natural to have a soft flask. And then by the time I'll put enough water in there that by the time I'm back, it's pretty much empty. So even the last 2-3 kilometers, I can just throw it in my pocket. So I love that aspect of a backyard ultra, but do not be fooled by the backyard ultra. It is a juggernaut. You need to give it the respect that it deserves. So, all right, let's get back into how my last 2 years went and the colossal mistakes that I made were. So, number one, 2 years ago, I went in my first backyard ultra, and my goal was 15 laps. I want to do 100 kilometers. And I was able to do that. And it was pretty good. I mean, by the time I hit, lap 10, 11, I could start to feel, yeah, man, like I'm ready for this to be over. And then hit 15, and it was good. I mean, I was ready to be done. I hit my goal, and I was happy. So then last year, what I decided to do is, I wanted to do 100 miles. So I thought I'm going to go for 24 kilometers. Now I've run 24 hours. I've run 24 hours before in other events, but not in the backyard. And so again, it's a backyard. We're running a little, we're walking part of the, it's funny how you can, your mind can just play tricks on you with that. So anyways, 100 miles, that was my plan. And I was ready to rock. I was even so prepared for the 100 miles last year that I had my pack ready to go. I called it my emergency pack, and I had enough water and gels and food in there or whatever for 3 to 4 laps, because I thought if I come in on lap like 20, 21, and I'm right at the edge, I can have somebody throw me my pack, and then I'm good for like the next 3 kilometers. I can just like pop into the pit and then run, the corral and run back out. I was ready to rock. And man, did I make a colossal mistake. So let's get into it. What happened last year was I came out for the backyard. I had an Apple Watch, Series 7. I love that watch. I still love that watch. I loved it for running. I love everything it does. But the battery life was not good. Like maybe, if on GPS mode where I don't have my phone with me, where it uses like the phone GPS, which will save the battery a little bit. Like if I don't have my phone with me, which I don't in a backyard ultra, I'm not carrying anything. It would only last like maybe 8 to 9 hours. Like the battery was starting to go on me. So I knew I was going to have to charge it as I went. So my plan was I'm going to bring a little brick charger thing, and then every lap I'm just going to pop it on the charger, right? And I didn't really know how to use the brick charger. I didn't know you had to press the button on the brick charger to like get it to activate. So it took me probably like 30 seconds to a minute every lap trying to get this thing working, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it eats up a whole minute of your time. You're sitting there. Plus, it's mentally on my mind. And so I'm finicking with my watch every lap. But my plan was, at some point in this race, I'll probably just have to leave it on the charger for a full lap, but I'll take my phone with me so I can, keep track of the time. And then that's what I'll do. So me and 2 buddies are running together, and my one friend Murray, he's like a really good pacer. So he was like very consistent. So every lap, if I just, stayed with him, we would usually come in at about like 48, 49 minutes, which I think is a little bit fast for what we're going to do this year, but for last year it was good. And so anyways, so that's kind of what we were doing, and I'm tracking on my watch, everything. And then on lap number 13, I was just feeling great. Like I remember as soon as early on, I kind of had a little bit of groin things happening, which sometimes I do, and then a little bit of this, a little bit like little niggles here and there. But by the time I hit about lap 8 or 9, I just felt like everything was gone. I kept doing like full system checks on my body, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, how am I feeling, this good? And so I get to like lap 13, and I come out with my 2 buddies, and my one buddy just started kind of running a little bit slower. Like I was kind of in the back, and he just was kind of slowing down. Oh, and actually on that lap, I put my watch on the charger, and then I forgot it there. So I go out on that lap, and I don't have my phone or my watch. So immediately your mind plays tricks on yourself. You start gaslighting yourself that I'm super far behind. So I'm with my one friend, and he's kind of slowing down a little bit. And he's going a little bit slower, and he's like, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. Like, you go on ahead. By now, Murray, our kind of main pacer guy, he's quite a ways up. Can't really see him anymore. We're about halfway. And so I thought, I feel like amazing. Like maybe the best I've ever felt for the fact that we've been running for 13 hours or whatever it is. And I was like, I'm gonna go catch him, because I don't want to risk time. Like I don't know what time it is, and again at that point in the race too, your mind's playing tricks on you. So I'm like, I feel amazing. Like I'm gonna catch Murray. So that's what I did. I start running probably 5:30 kilometers, which at that point in the race is like very fast. And I catch up to him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm amazing, right? And at that moment, I was like, 24 kilometers, I might win this whole race. And so I catch up to Murray. As soon as I caught up to him, like that second, I just felt this little, like, I don't know, like little thing in the back, right in my tendon, my back left tendon. I've never had that ever. And I was like, ooh, that's a little, that's a little devil. And so I started kind of on the trail there, just sort of like, getting out. So we go into the pit, whatever, and I kind of massage it a little, get a little niggle, get rid of that. And so then we go out on, and I probably ran for maybe like 1.5 kilometers at a pretty fast pace, like at that time in the race. So come out on the next lap. Ooh, I can definitely feel this. And so we're running kind of slow. I'm kind of trying to stretch it out a bit. And then we get to about a kilometer left, and ooh, like my whole back left behind in that tendon there just totally tightened up. And I was like, holy crap, like what? I've never had that pain before. I've never had that pain since. Like it was almost like IT band, because I know what that feels like, but it was kind of in behind there a little bit. So I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I come rolling into the pits, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to tape it. I always bring lots of tape. So I'm like, you know what? I got to massage this, and I just got to tape it up and, figure my life out. So I come into the pit, I tape it all up, and I'm massaging it. I'm thinking, okay, like, this isn't good. This is not good. And so we're heading out for so I'm done lap 15 now. So we're heading out for lap 16. So I go for lap 16. As soon as I stand up, it's like, whoa, like that's not good. And so I'm like, well, maybe once I start running, it'll get better. And so I grabbed a whole bunch more tape, and I thought, if I got to sit down at a bench or something out on the course and get all tapey tape, that's fine. Like this is a problem. I can work through this. And as soon as I started running, it was like no pain I've ever felt before. And it wasn't just like, ooh, can I run through this? It was like, no, like there's no world where you're gonna run on this. It's just impossible. And it's the first time I've ever really had that, where I just like could not run. Now life depended on it. I don't know. Maybe it would have been extremely excruciating, and I probably would have done permanent damage to my leg. But I'm like, well, I'm not ruining my summer over this. So I hobble back to the thing, and I did 15 laps again. So, big fail. But here's my lesson learned for both of them. Both that I did. Is in each case, I went in with a goal. And they say, you watch other YouTube videos, they say, oh, I don't have a goal. And I like having a goal. But I think that's what killed me, because the first one, I had a goal of 15 and I did 15. In this one, I think what hurt me was I had a goal of 24. So in my mind, I was like, I'm only at like 30. I still got a little ways to go. But what I didn't compute is I've already run, 90 kilometers. Like, think of a mountain race or like an ultra race. Would you get to kilometer 90 and then go, you know what, I'm just going to rip this kilometer? And I know 5:30 isn't like ripping, but at that stage of the game for me it was. No, you would never do that. I would never do that. At 90 kilometers in a race, I'm in, conservative mode, trying to just sort of move through the race and not injure myself. But for some reason, this Backyard Ultra, I felt so good. I was like, let's test it. Why not? And yeah, that was a huge, huge mistake, and it cost me probably my goal. Whereas I think had I just not had a goal at 24, I would have maybe treated the distance with a little more respect. I would have looked and said, okay, wow, I've run 90 kilometers. Like, I should probably start, maybe even like slowing down a bit and just, whereas instead I thought, oh, I'm not even close to the end yet. I still got so much fuel in the tank. And yeah, big mistake. So anyways, you live and learn. And this year I'm going to rectify that mistake. I will not ever make that mistake again. And so there you go. Oh, the other thing about last year too was I had this crazy, crazy work thing happen the week before the event, like just crazy, like once in a lifetime thing. And it was sort of like just, yeah. So I'm in between. Every time I came to the pit, I'm like checking my phone, and I really kind of almost shouldn't have been in the race. And I had to work the next day. I mean, it was like a crazy thing. So I won't even get into it, but my mind was all over the place. But anyways, so there you go. So this year, I actually have a week off after the event, so my mind will be clear, and I'm really hoping that makes a big difference. So, all right, training pretty straightforward. This wasn't sort of considered my like A race in that. Exit the door. This wasn't my A race in that I was training specifically for it, but I figured it would just sort of work in, and so. yeah, so I figured just getting in my 70K a week, all of the reviews I've been doing, or the weekly recaps, I figured would just sort of play in, and I feel great. Definitely feel like I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready for some big distance. I went out last week with my two buddies and we just did some test runs, and the course was definitely more challenging than a regular backyard ultra course. It had some crazy steep grades and elevation, but it was a good testing ground, and it reminded me the respect that you have to give to this. Like, you know, by lap 4, 5, 6, when you think, oh, lap 4, 5, 6, that's nothing. I mean, no, like you run 40, 50K, whatever. Like, you do start to feel fatigue in your legs, and so you gotta give it some respect. So that's where I kind of, after that training run, I sort of adjusted my plan of attack, if you will, and my preparation. So here's the number one things that I am going to do to make sure that I'm ready to go 1 week from today for this backyard ultra. Number one, I'm going to start stretching like 1 to 2 times a day, starting probably Monday. So I have a really sort of robust stretching routine that I do before every run, and I can do it in like either 5 minutes, but I should probably take like 8 to 10 minutes doing it. And so what my plan is for this week, I'm just going to go for some kind of smaller, 10K runs and whatnot. And I'm going to do that really good stretch before and after every run. I usually don't stretch after runs, which I probably should start, but I'm going to do that before and after. And then starting on Wednesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to do that stretch like 2 to 3 times a day. So probably once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once before I go to bed, like just really get everything stretched out. Because I find sometimes when I wake up in the morning after a few days of not running or not stretching, it's just kind of things start to season up. So this week is like all about just stretching, keeping things loose. And then the day before, on the Friday, probably stretch like 4 times, and then once right before I go to bed, and then when I wake up in the morning I'll stretch, then probably again right before, while I'm out there waiting for the thing to come, I'll do a quick stretch. So like I'm gonna be so darn stretched. The other thing is I've got to be really aware of the real food I'm eating. One of the mistakes I've made in backyard ultras is I just kind of eat gels and granola bars and think that's going to get me through a long stretch, and it just doesn't. Like, you have to have real food there. So my real food of choice, which I tested last week, is going to be steak and roasted potatoes, just cold in my cooler, little those Ziploc hard shell containers, and just eat as much of that as I can as I go, and then also eat gels and whatnot as I'm out there. I'm not going to have a goal. I have no goal for this race. I just want to go as far as I can go, and I don't want to. So my goal is I want to go as far as I possibly can without risking an injury or my season, if that makes sense. And so if I start to feel something that's like, whoa, this isn't good, I'm not going to like just keep pushing on and risk some injury, but that's part of the goal too, is to not have that happen, to be well prepared. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think if I just don't have a goal and I just decide, you know what, I'm going to just go as far as I can, that I'm hoping, because you know how it is, like in your mind, you kind of adjust how you feel based on how far you need to go. Like if you decide I'm going to run 30K today, at 30K, you feel done. But if you decide I'm going to run 60K today, at 30K, you feel pretty good. And it's all in how your mind works with your body. So I plan to go a long ways. I plan to go far, but I'm not going to go. I'm just not going to have a goal. And the other thing I'm going to do too is I'm not going to ever run faster than I have. So once I hit like lap 10, for example, if I'm say coming in at 53 minutes, well, 53 minutes is what it is. And I'm not coming in quicker unless for some crazy reason I have to, because I got to do something. But once I kind of come in at 54 minutes, well, in 54 minutes is my new speed, and I'm going to come in at that, because as I learned last year, you can't, like, your body doesn't just like, you're risking injury if you start just going faster all of a sudden. So that's my goal. Even if you feel good and your body thinks it feels good, I mean, you've still put in a lot of kilometers on that, and you got to, again, it's all about that respect. You got to have respect. Now, maybe if you're in your 20s, I don't know. I'm 46, so I got to, be a little careful. So second one, I don't know which one this is, probably fourth one. Music. so I have this thing, and it's the weirdest thing with me, where if I wait too long to listen to music, then I can't start listening. Like, let's say I ran 15 yards and then I decided, 100 kilometers, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try throwing in some music. It doesn't work. It just irritates me. It's no good. So I've got to start like cycling in a little bit of music early on, because down the road in the later rounds, music really just helps, takes my mind off things, and I don't know, it just helps motivation. It's just good. Music is good. But, and not to say I'll listen to it every lap, but I can't just start listening to it. You know what I mean? So I think what I'm going to do is, starting about yard like 8, 9, 10 in there somewhere, I'll probably just throw one earbud in and just kind of have some tunes going. Even if I just listen to it for half of the lap, which I may just do. I may decide, okay, I'm going to listen to music for like the second half of every lap. And then that way it's just sort of like in my rotation. And then that way, when I get to the later rounds, when I really need it, it's not like this like new thing I'm introducing that just sort of like irritates me. I don't know. Is that going to work? I have no idea. That's my plan. So this other one, this is a big one for me. Now, I am very, very dialed in with my hydration when I go in, like, say like a marathon, for example. I shouldn't jinx myself, but I've never had to like pee in a marathon before. I've never had to pee in, like, if I go out for like a fast 10K or whatever. Even a lot of these like long ultra races, I generally don't have to pee too much sometimes. But if I overhydrate to start with and I start peeing early, it just never stops. It's like the reverse. It's like people say, well, if I get underhydrated, I can't catch up. I'm like the reverse. If I get overhydrated, I can't catch up. Now I'm just peeing all the time. And I find with Backyard Ultras, what I do is I kind of think, oh, well, I should drink more because I can come back to the pits every time, and why not take advantage, right? And so, but here's the deal. Now you're kind of uncomfortable out there on the run because you got to pee, which sucks. Everyone knows peeing while you got to run is horrible. And I mean, yeah, I guess I could bust off in the trees or whatever, but again, that's time that you don't have. And then the second thing is, when we come into the pits, the way it comes in, if I come in this way, my tent is over here and the bathroom is kind of probably like 50 steps that way. And there again, it's like, if every time you go to the bathroom, now you're covering another, I don't know, 0.25 kilometers plus the time. And I know that sounds trivial, but when you're in the later kilometers, it's like, man, you want to get in that chair, take whatever couple of minutes you have to sit down before you got to get back out again. So my plan is, this year, first time, is I'm going to treat this just like I would a regular race. And so what I do when I'm planning a regular race, say like a marathon, is I drink a ton the night before, like Gatorade or whatever. But then that morning, I drink very, very little, like maybe just enough to kind of coat my throat. And I don't drink anything leading up to the race. And then when I start the race, I almost go like maybe 15 minutes further than I would normally with drinking. Like, I just get like a tiny bit behind on my hydration, I find. And then I find I can just keep this like balance of drinking enough, and I just never have to pee, right? It's good. You just like a tiny bit behind. And for me, that just works. And that's what I really want to try to accomplish in this. I don't know if I will. I don't know if it's possible in a backyard, because you kind of come into the pits and you're probably like over drinking just naturally. I don't know, but I'm gonna play around with that. And so I guess the one big change I'm going to make is, coming into the race, I'm not going to drink anything that morning, just like I would for a marathon. And then probably even the first lap, I'm not going to drink hardly anything, just like a couple sips just to keep things, loose. And then I probably won't even start like really, really going crazy until like lap 3 or 4. And then hopefully by then I'm kind of in that perfect balance, right? Depending on how hot it is and whatnot. So anyways, will it work? I have no idea. And then the other thing that I'm changing this year is, I generally don't get ready for races like too early. I like to kind of wait and sort of the couple of nights before, kind of get all my stuff organized and get ready. I don't know. I just find if I get ready too early, then it's like my mind kind of goes to that race too early. And like, I still have a lot to do this week with work and just life. So I don't want to like my mind to go to the race too early. But this week, this race rather, I'm going to change that. Actually, already last night I started getting ready. I started packing my clothes bag. This morning I washed out all my water bottles. And so my plan is by the end of this weekend, I kind of want to have everything that I can have packed, all my water bottles labeled. And I find too, for these backyards, like I like a variety of drinks. I like to have iced tea, Coke. Oh, that's the other thing I'm going to change this year too, is I'm going to drink way more Coke. Like whenever I watch these videos of people who are like winning these backyard ultras, or even like FKT attempts and all this stuff, they drink a lot of Coke. And I'm always under this impression like I shouldn't be doing that, but I love Coke. My body loves Coke. Like I should be drinking more Coke. So I think this year I'm going to bring a lot of Coke, and I make no apologies. Coke's my friend. We're going to see how it goes. But anyways, I like lots of different types of drinks. So Coke, iced tea, apple juice, Tailwind, Gatorade, tons of Gatorade, obviously tons of water. So I think my plan is, and I don't know, I'm still kind of working on this one, but I think my plan is I'm going to drink other drinks at the aid station and then just drink water out on the course. I don't know. I haven't really worked that one out in my brain yet, because sometimes I think, well, maybe I should do the opposite and I should drink like Tailwind or Gatorade out on the course, and then when I come in, I can sort of drink water. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on that one, but I think it's probably gonna be water out on the course. So that's it. That's my plan. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. I feel great. Last week when we went out, me and a few buddies, or a couple buddies, we did seven loops, and I was having like a real off day. My legs just kind of weren't working. I think I was kind of fighting something. My kids have been a little bit sick the last couple weeks, and so I think I don't know, but didn't feel great. But that's okay. I went for another run after that, and I felt just horrible. Like legs felt like bricks, and then I could kind of feel things were kind of, whatever I was fighting, it went away. And I went for a run, I think it was 2 nights ago, and felt amazing. So I think I feel as good as I'm going to feel. So my plan this week is just get as much sleep as I can, go for a few little runs here and there, just be as organized for this race as I can, and then just go out and just enjoy the race. And I don't know, see how it goes, see what happens. But that's my plan. And yeah, I'll do a recap after the race, and I'll let you know how it went. Talk soon.